Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Dana and I'm here to chat about all the things that I have been knitting and crocheting. It has been a little bit less knitting and crocheting this summer, but I do have some finished things to share with you and a few books that I've been reading that I wanted to share with you in case you're looking for book recommendations, because I always am. So I thought that would be a fun thing. So I want to just get into it and share what first is off my needles. I have a couple of them here to show. Some of them, actually one of the pairs, well, two of the pairs, three of the pairs, I can't do math. Some of the socks are not here, but I do have some finished projects that I shared on the last episode. I had been knitting my kids' Christmas socks. So this is self-striping, and not just self-striping, but I'll put the yarn information, like I said, it was in the last episode, but I'll put that on the screen. So this is how they turned out, and with a close-up, you can kind of see that it's doing a lot of pooling. I don't know, honestly, it's very strange because even for my oldest 10-year-old daughter, I cast on 56 stitches. And the only things I did different for her was the leg size. I went 4 inches. I honestly don't know whose sock this is. I need to label these socks somehow. Right now we're kind of at like 4 kids' pairs of socks are floating around somewhere. But I know my 10-year-old, I did a 4 inches for the leg, and then I don't remember how many for her foot before I started the toe. But what's weird is that this was supposed to create like a Fair Isle evenly dispersed color work pattern, and it didn't. It's just kind of pooling in strange ways, but my kids love them. They like these socks. My goal was to finish them by Christmas, and I did. Well, I'm trying to remember. Actually, I did not, but I did finish them by our camping trip in May, and that's kind of like a second best because that's when they wear these the most. Sorry, my son's out playing with his Hot Wheels, and I just heard a mouse in our wall, so now my dog is like fascinated by that, so hopefully it's not too distracting of noises. But their main reason for using these, because I have kids, 4 kids 10 and under, and their socks, they're kind of hard on their socks, and they pull them off, pull them on, throw them in the wash before I can get to them. So I only really have them, I mean, I don't tell them when they can and can't wear them, but tip 1 is that this is all superwash merino wool, so it's soft. And if it does get thrown in the wash, it's not the end of the world. They're not going to shrink completely. And again, soft because they are sensitive to scratchy things. And the other thing is that, so our camping trip, their main reason for wearing these, one of them is for camping trips, especially in early spring or fall camping trip when it's kind of colder. They really like to have wool socks on, and so do I for camping trips like that. So that's what the goal was, and that was the finished timing, and they wore Christmas socks in May on our camping trip, and they loved it. They also wear these with snow boots, and they also wear these with ice skates in the winter. So these have been really helpful. And on that note, I was realizing these are the first and only socks I've ever knit my kids, besides like tiny little baby booty socks where it's like that small and you knit it. So I knit another pair when we went on our camping trip. I picked up some yarn. The first one, this is what's left of it. It's a mix of purples. There's some black and white in there, a little bit of pink, like a darker pink. Oh my gosh, that mouse. And I just dropped it. It's black cat fibers, and this color was called Cow Tipping. So we actually picked up this yarn. Oh, I'm not very flexible. We picked up this yarn on our camping trip. They all wanted to pick up something, and thankfully this yarn shop we went to near Lake Geneva, I'll put the name of the yarn shop because it's escaping me right now. They had a basket of like free odds and ends of little bits and pieces of yarn here and there. So, and my kids, 3 of them knit out of the 4, or crochet, or both. So it was nice that they were able to each get one small little bit of yarn for free. But then I said, you know what? Pick something and I'll make you a pair of socks, and it'll be kind of like your special memory. Because yarn's expensive, I didn't want to just get everybody a skein of yarn. Also, one skein of, how many is this? 435 yards is this one. One skein of yarn made 2 pairs of kids socks. And that's like, 4 to 10-year-old ages of socks. So if you have even younger than 4, it would make more than that. If you have all teenagers, it would be, you probably could only make 1 pair. But this is how much I have left from making my 8-year-old and my 6-year-old girls' socks. And they both look exactly the same. This is one of their pairs. One of them has their pair out. The other just got washed in the bathtub. So here's one of the pairs. And the only difference is that one of my kids wanted the toe to be a little wider. So I think I might have decreased 6, maybe 8 stitches. It wasn't a lot of stitches. And then I just kept knitting for the toe length, and then I just did the Kitchener and all that. So based on the look of it, actually, this is definitely a wider toe. And I'll show you in my other ones. This one's wider than, this one's been worn more, so it's a little more felted and fuzzy. But that's like a regular decreased toe that I normally do, and with some fuzzies on it. And then this is the wider toe. So you can see the differences from here to here and here to here. And like I said, most of my kiddos are fine with that. One wanted it to not feel like it was being pinched. And I would like to turn this into a pattern, but right now I'm just experimenting and having fun making them socks. But I know for my 10-year-old, who in clothing sizes wears like a size large, I'd say, I cast on 56 stitches. For my 8-year-old, same thing, I cast on 56 stitches. My 6-year-old, I cast on 52 stitches, and also my 4-year-old, I cast on 52 stitches. And this was all with a size US 1 circular needle. And then, actually, I might have written the notes. I know the 10-year-old, the leg was about 4 inches, so I think it looks like the other ones are just a couple rows less than that, so maybe 3.5 inches of a leg. But yeah, so these are the finished socks. All my kids can have lots of socks, because I realized for how many socks I make, I wasn't making any for my kids. And partly for that reason, sock yarn's expensive. Also because you want the person you're knitting for to be like giftable, like they're going to take care of the thing you took a long time to make and all that. So I think they're all of age now to realize how cool it is to have hand knit socks, and they really do like them on those colder days. And there's just something about now it makes them think of camping with that. So that's been really my main project. And I did get 2 more things of yarn. I didn't start either. When we got our family camping, because camping was our vacation this year. We did a trip to Colorado in January, which kind of meant that our summer we just did 1 camping trip, and then we've done a couple small things, a lot of backyard camping. But so this was our main vacation this year, and so I wanted it to be fun. I think this will be a tradition, is that if we find a yarn shop nearby, we'll just pick out yarn. Oh, also, I didn't show you the other sock. Sorry, I showed you the Christmas socks. I showed you the purple. So 2 of my kids both liked that purple, and this mix. 2 of my kiddos like that. That was left over. And then 2 of my kids picked this one, which is in a tangled, because I just brought it to my friend's house today and I had it in my purse, so it's a little tangled. But this yarn here, it is like almost mermaidy. It's got some blue, tiny specks of green here and there. Try to show you the green. It's a little bit of green up in, where'd it go? Right here is like a spot of green. You can barely see. It's not really tweedy. There's a couple little, what makes confetti kind of a look to it. So anyway, 2 of my kids picked this color, and I used Mad Dye Yarns, which is dyed in Ohio. This is the Chester sock, and the color is just Aquarius. And this one's 437 yards, And I know it's a goose, but it kind of looks like our duck, like our Jemima puddle duck. So that was part of it. And then part of it's the color that they liked. So this is what the sock is looking like. I started this time with my 10-year-old first because she was the one who got the Christmas socks last. I mean, still, I literally was, it's popping back in my brain. We were pulling in, I was finishing it up on the car ride up. It's only like an hour away where we went. I was finishing it up, doing the Kitchener thing as we were checking in at the drive-through where you check in at the window and you get your campsite information. And then as we were pulling in and finding our campsite, I finished it. So yeah, she was the last one to get her sock. So she's the first one to get this one. So this is the start of it. And this side has a little more of the green, a little bit here. So this is the 10-year-old size. So I cast on 56 US 1. And I'm going about 4 inches here. So, and I'm writing it all down so I have 2 that end up matching each other. That would be the goal. So this skein will have my 10-year-old's pair of socks and then my 4-year-old's pair of socks. So, yeah, it worked out that way that the one that I was going to do the biggest amount of yarn, like I would need the most amount of yarn to make the oldest kid's sock, also with the least amount of yarn to make the youngest kid's sock. And this one has, what was it, like, I don't know, 40 yards more of yarn. So 437 compared to, I'm way off. Wait, I'm way off. 437, 435. For some reason, I thought this was in the 460s. It's not. So it's basically the same amount of yarn, which is going to be just fine. I'll end up with more left over than this, I bet, because the 4-year-old sock is so much smaller. Although maybe it'll even out because the 10-year-old is a little bit bigger. So that's been my main project. But like I said, I want it to be like this fun family thing, hopefully a tradition, because we do go camping every year. So I found this one for my husband. Actually, I didn't find it. He picked it out once he saw what I was going for and told him, you know, look and see if there's one you like. So this one here, it makes him think of Lake Michigan, he said. The color is called Cabin Fever, and it's just Madeline Tosh, and it's called just Twist Light. It's 70% superwash merino wool and 25% nylon. And then also for these other two, it was also a 75, no, this one's 100% merino wool. This one, superwash merino wool, sorry. This one, that's the bluer one. This is a 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. So both can get thrown in the wash. Hopefully they don't. I have a special basket that they're supposed to come bring those kinds of things for. And then when we unpack from camping, that makes it easy because I'm usually the one doing it and I throw it in. Anyway, this is what my husband picked out. And this one was wool and nylon mix. And then this is the one I picked out, which, you know, it was the start of summer. This was really calling to me. I actually don't know if I'm going to finish that this year or if this is going to be next summer because I'm trying to finish up my summer projects and I'm really looking forward to fall, but I'm not casting anything on yet. I just want to close the loops in my brain and finish my summer things. So this one is called One in a Melon because it's watermelon colored. It's Madeline Tosh and it is also Twist Light. 75 merino wool, 25 nylon. So those are our family camping socks. Sorry, mouse in the wall. My poor dog is so fascinated. So those are the colors we went with, plus the ones that the kids went with. So that's kind of the plan on that. And then I have one last project that I'm so close to being done with. And I'm having a lot of fun making it. It definitely is my one project that needs like all brain power, total focus. And that is the Stromboli tea. So this one is by Caitlin Hunter. Okay, here's the story behind this one. We went to Trader Joe's at the beginning of summer. I don't know if I wasn't feeling well or what, but my husband actually went in, took the kids in. I waited in the car. Well, the car next to me, somebody was getting in the passenger seat, and she was wearing this bright blue knit, lacy knit. I don't know if it was a hand knit or a store-bought situation, but it was adorable. I tried to be like seeing all the details I could, but she got in the car pretty quickly. So I couldn't get it out of my head. I knew I wanted to make a t-shirt for summer, and now I knew that I wanted to be a lacy one that was like a bright blue. So I hopped in my car like a week or two later, went to Wool & Company, which is like 20-25 minutes away. It's my closest yarn shop. So I went there and I found this beautiful poppy blue. It was amazing. It is, where's my thing? It's Knitting for Olive Merino. Now, I would have preferred to find cotton. They didn't have it in this color, and I really was dead set on this color. My thought is that I'm going to wear it over a dress, which already means I don't need it to be super lightweight, because if I'm wearing something over a dress, it's not 90 degrees out. If it's 90 degrees out, like I'm wearing jean shorts and a tank top because it's that hot, or like just a dress. I'm not layering. So my thought is this is more of a transitional spring into summer type thing. So I'm okay with it being merino. I really like this yarn, and I'm going to be trying it again for other projects because I do really like it. But I will show you the start of it. This is the Stromboli tee. And you can just see how short the sleeves go. It has a little mixture of, I think it's just called a tiny twist. And really you're just like slipping a stitch over, knitting, doing a yarn over, and knitting. So it's just like a quick twisty thing. You're not really cabling or anything. And then this part is really pretty. I just love this so much. I'm so excited about this. And so as you can see, I just last night picked up my neckline, and I think I'm just doing a few rows, like a couple like inches. I don't know. I think it was 5 rows or something for my neckline. So 2 things. I'm using, I hit gauge on everything, so I'm using size 2 needles for the cuffs and the ribbing and stuff, and then a size US 3 for everything else. And going into it, I had a feeling it was going to be short because I'm 5'7.5", so already things have to be kind of, they're going to be short if they're just like, you know, based on what other people are making. Most other people have a shorter torso, so this is going to be a little short. So that was one negative. And I don't feel comfortable enough in my garment knitting, I should say. I really knit accessories like exclusively until a couple years ago. And in the short amounts, like bursts of time that I knit, I really haven't made a ton of garments. So I'm still a newbie at sweaters and tees in particular here. So I didn't feel comfortable. I don't know. I wasn't sure if I'd run out of yarn. So if I added length, I wasn't sure if I'd run out of yarn. And then the other thing is I wish that this pattern was top down. It's not. It's bottom up. And then you just seam up here at the top. And so yeah, once I'm more comfortable with that, I'll be able to hopefully look at a pattern, flip it around, and change it. But I know lace is a little different. I was trying to make a pair of lace socks in the spring, but I like knitting socks top down and like cuff down instead of bottom toe up, sorry. And lace isn't the same whether you knit it one way or the other. You have to, it just doesn't work to just be like, oh, let me just flip everything, because it doesn't turn out the same. So this is how long it's going to be. I'll see if I can kind of squat stand for you. So this is my regular shirt right now. This is going to be hopefully something like it. So I'm thinking like my jeans go to here. This is pretty much my waist. Something over a dress, not like a tight dress, because it's going to accentuate a part that I don't really want accentuated, because I have 4 kids, so I don't really want it to be like with a tight dress or with a tank top right underneath. I think what's coming out from under needs to be flowy. So I'm really excited to wear this. And then I was looking on Pinterest last night and just getting lost in like outfit ideas and things like that. And I really love the look of overalls with sweaters and t-shirts, and like specifically hand knit sweaters and t-shirts under it. And I think overalls with this underneath it, and then like springtime overalls with like overall shorts with this underneath, I think would be pretty cute. So this has been a big project. I haven't made any changes at all. You could go a little longer with the sleeves. I wanted to keep it short sleeves. And so I'm basically just following it exactly. It's, I think I said, but I'm not sure. It's a Caitlin Hunter pattern. And so I'm following it exactly how she wrote it. And I really do like how she wrote it. Like I said, the only things I would change would be to make it longer for my body, which isn't a pattern thing, that's a me thing. And then just wishing it was top down, because bottom up is hard to try things on. There's how much yarn I have left, and it doesn't look like a ton, but I think I only used 4 or 5 of these total. So I'm going to end up with extra of this. So I really could go longer, and maybe I'll be brave enough to do it. It really wouldn't take much, right? I don't know. No, I actually couldn't. See, that's the problem. That's the problem, because it's bottom up. I can't go longer unless I were to undo everything, which I wouldn't do. So I'm just going to have some leftover yarn, and that's going to be okay. It'll be okay. I'm just so excited to wear this though, because I got really into lace knitting. Like I said, I tried making a pair of socks. It wasn't turning out, so I put it off into timeout. And I have a scarf that it's been not in timeout, but it's just a winter project, and I just never got to it. So one thing I need to do is to just pull out my big bin of whips. Things that I put away. So for example, I had a pair of Halloween socks and Thanksgiving socks, and then some Christmas and winter things that are under my bed. And I knew I wasn't going to work on it in the summer, so I just put them in there. And I would really like to pull those out, because I feel like it's this feeling of like unfinished tasks that I haven't done. So that is, that's what I've been working on pretty much. Kids socks and my Stromboli tee. Now that's like the actual knitting, what I've been working on. What I've been working, I did have one random thing. I made this little baby leg warmer last year. It's a total match to the Pumpkin Patch Cabin socks. And it's a little leg warmer. I had just enough yarn. You can see where it does the bigger twist mixed with the smaller twists. I had, oh no, that's a different one. It's just bigger twists. You can see where it's like the big twists, and it's the exact pattern of the Pumpkin Patch Cabin socks. But the problem is I don't have a baby to take pictures of these on. So, and I just don't think, oh my gosh, I hope that's just a mouse. That thing was loud. Do you hear that? That's not just a mouse. That thing's huge. I live in an almost 200-year-old farmhouse, and we've never had anything other than mice, and I'm hoping it stays that way. Anyway, I finished these leg warmers, and I don't have any model for them, and I don't think, like, flat on the ground just isn't going to showcase what they look like. So those are just kind of in my lost pattern bin, which I do have. I have lost patterns that I have started making, things I used to make for my Etsy shop when I started in 2015. And I didn't know at the time that you could buy certain patterns, make the thing, and resell it and give it credit to the designer. So I was just making things up, like making patterns and stuff, and then I'd sell it. But I never like wrote the patterns down for anyone else. So I just have like random patterns like that. So that goes in my lost pattern thing for now. It's actually a completely done pattern. I just don't have any pictures, which is kind of silly. Well, I guess I shouldn't say completely done. I only have one because I was experimenting on yarn and I only had enough for this much yarn. So last pattern for now. But I have been working on other stuff. It's not like physically knitting. I wrote 2 books this summer. One is just a pattern collection, not just, but it's a pattern collection of the, sorry, that was a timer for my kids reading. So now they're gonna do a couple minutes of quiet playing. They do 30 minutes of reading every day right after lunch, and then they get to do like 30 minutes of Legos or painting or whatever. So that, oh, my cabin socks, my worsted weight cable knit cabin socks. I have 7 patterns and it's in now a collection, the cabin sock collection. And I made it into an ebook. So it's just, instead of just a bundle where you're now juggling all these different patterns, I put it into an ebook where it's like all the glossary terms you're gonna need, all the notes and the construction, and then one thing about how to do like the Kitchener thing at the end and weaving in ends and stuff if people don't know how to do that. So a little bit smaller than if you just took all the patterns and printed them all off and now you've got 7 patterns you're juggling. And then the second one was teaching kids to knit curriculum. It's called Knit Together. And I just had so many people who were sending me messages. One of them was a grandma, or is a grandma, who has an 11-year-old daughter who's been wanting to learn to knit, and she knows how to knit, but she's never really figured out how does she teach her daughter her granddaughter how to knit. And so she was asking for some ideas on that. One mom she doesn't know how to knit or crochet, and she's overwhelmed with the idea of just like, I'm in the craft store and I don't know what to do. Like, I need to walk down the aisle. The problem is my dog is a Westie. He's a terrier and he wants to hunt all the mice. So, and especially worse if he can't hear it, but he can see it. Or sorry, switch that. He can't see it, but he can hear it and smell it. It's okay. Hey down. So yeah, Knit Together was just kind of the years of experience that I've had teaching my kids how to knit, teaching in the library classes to kids, and just getting these emails from people who really just would like help. And I grew up in a family where my mom knows how to knit now. My sister always knew how to knit. My aunt always knew how to knit. I mean, not always, but for a long, long time. Like my sister learned as a kid, it seems like, and just, maybe she was a teenager, but she just was always knitting. And so I just want that for other people. I want to pass on the skill of knitting, the craft and the art part of it, but also it is a life skill. If, Great Depression times, if you needed to make something for yourself, you would know how to knit or sew. And I think it's a good skill for kids to have, but also just like the joy of it bringing a family together. Like, it's a bond between me and my aunt. It's a bond between me and my sister and my mom. We go on knitting trips once a year, every year, which I'm so grateful for. And we go to yarn shops together. We drink coffee and we knit and we talk about our projects and we catch up. And it's like anytime we gather together, we almost all have knitting, like one little portable project. So, and we just check in on what each other are making. And it's just like a touch point of, like I said, like a bond that brings us together. So, and I feel like, I think everyone would probably agree that coming together in actual real life ways is very important. So that's what I was working on all summer. It was a lot of computer work, and I'm glad that it's finished. And yeah, it's called Knit Together. It's a knitting curriculum. It just is like, it's 66 pages. It's over 30 lessons. And it really just takes you, whether you know how to knit or not, it takes you from learning to knit to now practicing all those different skills throughout the steps of knitting a scarf. And then it comes with videos that I had already made, and there's little QR codes on there and stuff. So that was really fun to make. I'll probably try making a second one for next year, maybe making something else besides, like a little more advanced based on that. I finished filming and then realized that I did not share what I've been reading this summer. So I thought I would insert this little clip into there. So the way I keep track of my reading is a couple ways. I keep track on Goodreads, like what I actually read, but then I have a little, it's just like a little, not a binder, it's just one of these, a little one of these things. It's got different notebooks in it, and then it all just closes up with this. I think it's Erin Condren, but I throw other things in here that aren't that brand. As long as they fit in here, they can go in here. So I do like a monthly thing. It'll be like, as the month goes on, I write down a couple things that just have given me like joy over the month, and then so that's the only thing that's like that I look at afterwards. Then I write down at the beginning of the month some crafts I want to finish, some habits I want to work on, different serving things I want to do, projects I want to finish, what events and celebrations are coming up, and then what I want to read. And then from there, so it's kind of like my month at a glance. The one part up here is like a month in review. But then up here is where I write my books. So I write down what I want to read. Then if I read it, I give it a check mark and I give it stars. And that's just been what's working for me. It's all in one place. So starting, I'll just go to March. So starting in March, I read The Secret Garden, finally. And that was a 5-star for sure. Then I read Under the Lilacs by Louisa May Alcott. That was 4 stars. And then I read The Hobbit, which I've read before, but I read it with my kids. That was 5 stars. The only one I read all on my own for that one was Under the Lilacs. I was kind of pre-reading it for my kiddos to see what age that was for. Okay, April. Here's an example where I got really ambitious, and all of these... Okay, some of these are blooms. Oh my gosh. So I also keep track of what things are blooming at different times of year, because I know I'll look back on this later on and be like, you know, remembering when things bloom. If I plant something, when does it bloom? If it's a wildflower, when will I see it? But this whole section here is reads, and then I added some more down here. So I didn't get to all these, but what I did read in April was I read The Blue Castle, L.M. Montgomery. That was a 5-star. I read The Murder on the Links, Agatha Christie. That was only 3 stars. Then I read The Enchanted April by Elizabeth von Arnim. That was 3 stars. Then I read, let's see, I'm trying to find my other check marks. This month was a little messy. 8 Cousins, Louisa May Alcott. That was 3 stars. Another pre-read. Let's see. I read Wild Things by Stephen James. It was about like raising boys. That one was 4 stars. Then I read Emily of New Moon, Ella Montgomery, 3 stars. And that was my April. So then May. Did I read anything in May? What a contrast. I read 1 book in May. I read Anne of Windy Poplars by L.M. Montgomery. That was my only one. And I had 5 books on the list, but I only read 1. Okay, so we then got back to another month. Ooh, this one is interesting. This one, I was a little more realistic in my reads because I only listed this many things to read. Then down here and all up here are like movie ideas and TV ideas. I don't watch a ton of movies and TV, but I think I wanted like spring themed things to watch. So it looks like I didn't read any of these. I didn't read anything in June. I don't know. I think we had a busy month. It looks like we had a lot of events and celebrations. So busy month, didn't read anything. Moving on to July, I read Anne of Ingleside. That was a 4-star. That was Ellen Montgomery. Magic for Marigold was 4 stars, which is also Ellen Montgomery. And then the next one was also Ellen Montgomery. Jane of Lantern Hill, I gave 4 stars. I was trying to get through a lot of Ellen Montgomery because my oldest is, she's almost done reading through the whole Anne of Green Gables series. And so I wanted to kind of pre-read her other books and see. Then I read, it was like a cozy mystery type thing. And I'm trying to remember the plot now. I'm trying to remember if there was a murder. I don't remember. It was Secrets of the Amish Diary. And I don't remember the author. I didn't write it down. But I gave it 3 stars. And I think it's part of a series. And it's one of those, she's like a super sleuth type person. So did I say 3 stars? I think it was 3 stars. Yeah, 3 stars. It wasn't very memorable, but it was pleasant to read. Okay, August. I have so far read Rainbow Valley by Ellen Montgomery, which is the second to last book in the Anne of Green Gables list series. But it's a very ambitious month because this is how many things I wanted to try to read. And I've only read one, and we're almost halfway through August. But that's okay. I like to come up with the ideas, and then I'd rather have more choices. And I just get these all from the library. I either listen on our library Hoopla app, or I just get the actual book from the library, and that's how I do it. So really, if I get like 8 books and I end up reading 3 of them, I'd rather do that because I have choices. It's kind of like, it depends on what your mood is, you know, a mix of fiction and a mix of other stuff. So right now I'm currently reading An Old-Fashioned Girl by Louisa May Alcott, and I like it so far. And then I'm listening to, by Jennifer L. Scott. She's the Daily Connoisseur on YouTube, and I think it's the first one she's written. It's like Madame Chic. She went to live in Europe, and she's learned some different things where she has realized, you know, our country of let's wear sweatpants and sit on the couch and snack, eating popcorn, watching TV. Maybe there's a contrast to life in France where, you know, they sit down and they treat eating as like a special treat type thing. And, you know, they're not worried about dieting and things like that. Like, they let themselves enjoy food, but they do it intentionally. That's so far what the chapter I've read has been about. But I know she talks all about like dressing and keeping your home and, yeah, just things like that. So that's what I'm currently reading. That's all my summer's been up to. That's what I've been up to this summer. And thank you for hanging out and chatting. And I hope that you have a good end of your summer. And I just hope that you have awesome knitting projects you can finish up. If you've moved on to fall, then I hope your fall projects are spectacular and exciting and giving you some glee to think about. I'm excited to switch out my yarn. I have all my summer yarns out, like my cotton and stuff. So I'm excited to switch that out because what's underneath here is more of my wool, but I haven't gotten there yet. I'm trying to finish my summer projects. So thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.